speech. So as a conservative, I think that if we're going to win the war of ideas, we need to adopt some more nuanced views of some issues that are important to people instead of being dismissive, which I think we are sometimes. For example, I agree that white privilege, which you call a myth, is not this all-encompassing legal barrier to progress for minorities. However, we all have unconscious biases based on things like race, age, and gender. So if there's a tendency to prefer white over black in some area, like deciding between job candidates, then wouldn't it be an example of not legal but de facto white privilege? And if that's the case, then don't we all need to check our many privileges by being more aware of the good things that we have, which we ourselves do not earn? And don't we also need to check our biases by trying to do better at judging each person individually and not by their group identity?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't call that white privilege. I'd just call that trying to be a good person. I think the problem with the term white privilege is the unspoken assumption, which is that if you are white, you have somehow benefited massively by dint of your skin color in the United States. And that is a proposition that on the individual level, I absolutely deny. I think there are a lot of white people who do not benefit from the fact that they are white in the United States. I think there are legal policies in place like affirmative action that affirmatively actually cut against white people in the United States when they don't exist in the same way with regard to legal discrimination, like legally enforced discrimination against other groups. When it comes to the idea that we should all treat each other as individuals and we should obviously examine our own internal biases, of course I agree with that. I mean, I thought that used to just be called decency.
Yeah, judge one another by the content of their character and not the color of their skin is something that we all should be living by. But the left doesn't live by that. They don't. They might want to try. They might try to say and make it sound like they are, but I mean, look at the proof. What did Karine Jean-Pierre say? She said representation matters, so skin color matters. That's not the content of someone's character. She was legitimately talking about skin color. Representation matters. That's not judging someone based on the content of their character. So the left doesn't even live by these same things, and they try to go after people on the right for not allegedly not living by that, but they don't either. Hypocrites. But hey, let's continue on.
The problem with weaponizing the term white privilege is, again, the suggestion that if you are a white person and you've been successful, the reason that you've been successful is due to this unspoken privilege and bias inside our institutions. Again, that's too vague to do anything about. I've said this 1,000 times, really, almost in every speech, that if you want to point out to me a case where somebody is being a racist so I can get on the same side as you and then fight alongside you against that racism, that's fine. But if you want to go ghost hunting against things like white privilege, I can't. It doesn't have a specific enough definition or an action plan for me to do anything about it. So there's really nothing I can do about it until you cite for me the exact instance of something going wrong, and then we can fight about it together. Specificity is actually the friend to action. Vagary is the enemy of action. And it feels like in today's politics, vagary is what people cite because that allows them to be angry at other people without actually recommending an action that's useful.
That is facts. That is facts. A lot of folks on the left are very, very vague with their stances on certain things, and it's intentional, completely intentional, because then they can just sit angry with no actual action plan. So obviously, guys, today we are having a discussion about white privilege, and as Ben Shapiro just broke down there, the ghost of white privilege. But I also have a clip here from Savannah Hernandez. Shout out to Sav Says is the name of her YouTube channel. Go and check her out. We've checked her out plenty of times right here on the channel. I'm sure a lot of you guys are already familiar with her content. She does some really great work. Make sure you guys go support her. But there's a clip actually on Twitter that has over 3 million views. 3 million views. I mean, it's absolutely blowing up right now. And I wanted to check this out with you guys because it is absolutely incredible what happens in this clip. Guys, check this clip out.
I grew up as a white man, and you're the exact opposite, and so it's like my experiences are going to be different from yours.
How come?
I think, there's a thing of like white privilege.
What privileges do you have that I don't have?
Oh, see, that's the question I keep asking myself, because like in this day and age, like all the laws, I say all the laws, it's hard to speak on something I'm not fully knowledgeable of. So like, I'm sorry if I like make a mistake in saying this, but it's
Noticing a pattern here with a lot of these leftist talking points. They can't actually defend them when they're questioned about them. They don't stand up to debate. That is why, that is why I came up with the phrase, when the facts come out, they run. They run. We've seen it a million times in these videos. Maybe not literally a million times, but we've seen it a lot. Now, this guy doesn't actually run away, but just stick around. You're gonna be surprised by what happens in this. But they don't stand up to debates, and if they don't run, they never actually have an answer. Isn't that amazing? Like, you believe in something, but can't actually answer questions about it. How does that make any type of sense? Anyway.
Would you think it's a problem in society when white people think that they have more privileges than brown or black people?
Yeah, and I think that's sort of the agenda that's pushed off.
That's kind of racist in and of itself. You think just because you're white, you got more privilege than me? How dare you? Ultimate Uno reverse right there. Actually, I might use that on somebody that tries to hit me with some of that. How dare you think that because you're white, you have more privilege than me? Oh, man.
Because personally, it's like, not that I think I'm more privileged than anyone else, because I had to work to get where I was, and that's like the...
So why do you have that mentality immediately where you kind of apologize to me, like, let's talk about privilege, let's talk about, I'm a white man in America, so we could have grown up differently.
I got you.
Why is that your first initial reaction to me as a brown woman?
Wow, you're getting me good. See, these are the kind of conversations that I love having. And I think it comes from a place of, like, I wouldn't say caution, but, like, in this day and age, people are so quick to judge and react and cancel. And so I guess it's that like, caution to go into an interview like this. I'm like, I don't know where we're at, but now I know where we're at, and I can, like, go for real.
The caution, because I don't know where we're at. But I know that we're at, and I can go for real. So really what you mean to say is all of what you said at the beginning was a lie. It was a front because you didn't want to get canceled. You were afraid to say how you truly felt. And I think a lot of people feel that same way. Unfortunately, they feel afraid to speak the truth and how they really feel. And I feel like that is a very, very dangerous place. Very, very dangerous place. Because that gives the idea that a lot more people agree with this censorship culture, this cancel culture, than what is actually true. A lot of people don't actually agree with it. They're just afraid of it. So they don't say anything. They sit back quiet. It's just like the story. I was watching a story about there was a kind of like a bar and pub kind of owner guy who was supposed to shut down during the pandemic or whatever. He didn't. He gave the government the big middle finger. Hey, you guys can't do this kind of situation. And eventually the government sent some guys in to mess with them, took his license and yada, yada, yada. I think he ended up taking them to court. If I remember the story correctly, I could be mixing things up a little bit here, so forgive me. But he ended up taking them to court and winning. And some other restaurant owners were, hitting them up like, hey, great job. What can we do to support? And he said, you guys need to do the same thing that I did. You guys need to stand up to this foolishness. You guys need to stand up to them trying to take over our businesses. They are not allowed to do this. And you know what a lot of those owners said? Oh, no, we can't do that. Like, we agree with you, but no, we can't stand up for our rights. Oh, no. I feel like this is the same kind of situation. Like, he knows the truth. He knows it's a fraud, but he feels afraid to say anything. It's the same thing with the other restaurant owners. They know what the truth is. They don't like being shut down, but they just went along with it anyway. That's the problem. We got to stop just going along with things. I'm not saying that you have to be, a horrible, terrible, no good, very bad person or harm anybody or anything like that. But stand up for what you believe in. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no harm in that. I know the left might try to say, oh, well, words are violence. No, they are not. Like who in their right mind thinks that? Nobody. Nobody. And like I've said in previous videos, what I am seeing across social media is more and more people are coming out and speaking their truth. More and more people. And it's a beautiful thing to see. It's a beautiful thing to see. Not as many people are so afraid of speaking the truth anymore. And it is starting to snowball into this big snowball rolling down the hill, so to speak. And, more and more people are seeing other people speaking out and actually saying the truth. So they're speaking out and saying the truth. And, obviously, like I said, it snowballs from there. And you kind of saw here in this video a little bit where he said, hey, I know where we're at now. Now I can just say what it is that I want to say. And hopefully he takes that into other conversations in the future. Now that he's had that conversation once, I think that will snowball into other things. But yeah, guys, we are beginning to turn the tables, it seems. Beginning to turn the tables. Because just a year ago, just last year, I felt like a guy like that would have completely put up some this argument that made zero sense and never would have admitted. He never would have admitted that he felt differently nowhere in that conversation. Now he's gotten to the point where, yeah, I can admit that I actually feel a different way. I just was saying that just to make sure that, you weren't some lunatic leftist that was going to try to harm me in any kind of way. The tables are turning, guys. This isn't the time that we need to get complacent, though. This is the time where we speak out even more. Like I said, we don't speak out in hate. We don't speak out in hate. We're the true side of love. The left tries to claim that they're all about love and, acceptance, and they're not. They're not. It's a complete lie. It's a complete lie. Whatever the left says, they're actually the opposite. The left says they're all about love. No, they're not. They're all about hate. All the left does is spew out hate. I can pull up videos right now of some terrible things that I'm not going to show it right here on YouTube because the video would get demonetized like crazy. If I showed some of these clips of leftists like hitting people with sticks and, all types of things, attacking people, destroying people's property, all kinds of things. You never see that from, you don't see that as often from people on the right. I won't say never, because of course there's always outliers, but the amount is it's not even close. It's not even close. But yet the right is always painted as the bad guys. But that narrative is starting to turn. A lot more people are waking up. Make sure y'all speak up and speak out. I'm telling you, it's time. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button if you're new. Peace and love. I'm out.